Hello my YouTube beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a wear test on the brand new Fenty Beauty Easy Drop or Eavesdrop. I don't know. Is it easy or eavesdrop? Blurring skin tint. I have mine in the shade 2. Very excited to test this out. I have not been seeing a whole lot of reviews on it, so I feel like I'm going in pretty blind. If you enjoy foundation reviews and want to see my thoughts, be sure to keep on watching. And if you're enjoying the video while you're watching, you can go ahead and give it a thumbs up and let me know. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. So this just looked really weird. Like the packaging looked intriguing. So that's why I picked it up originally. It retails for $29.50. So pretty affordable actually on Sephora. Right now it has 4 stars, 438 reviews. Comes in 25 shades. Like I said, I have the shade 2, which I think is the second to lightest shade. It is described as light with neutral undertones. It's supposed to be long wearing, vegan, have a natural finish, light coverage, and the brand is cruelty free. It says it's a lightweight, buildable, light to medium coverage skin tint that leaves skin looking blurred and smooth, humidity, sweat, and transfer resistant formula. We'll see. I don't really have a ton of skin tints that I super love. I really like the L'Oreal, what is it, Paradise one that just came out. That's really good. And then another like skin tint or BB cream that I really love is the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB cream. Other than that, I don't really mess around a whole lot with skin tints. So I'm eager to see how this does. This is a squeeze tube. It has very sharp, modern looking lines all over the package, which I don't really love these kinds of packaging. Like it feels like the squeeze tube is really hard, so it's difficult to squeeze the product out. I prefer, if it's going to be a squeeze tube, to be something that's a little bit more flexible. All right, I know I have the Fenty Beauty powder foundation also that I need to try, but this came out and I've been seeing more things about this recently. So I was like, I'll try out this one first and then try out the Fenty Beauty powder foundation. I have some different powder foundations I've been loving. I recently posted a like monthly favorites video. So if you're curious about the powder foundations I've been wearing a ton, I'll link it down below. Oh, this is a skin tint I love. It's right here, Skin Paradise by L'Oreal. This one is really, really good for an affordable price, and even if you have oily skin, it works really well. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. I'm just gonna take the tiniest bit. This does not do a whole lot to the skin other than just give a good base for a foundation to go on top of. And maybe what I'll do is just apply the primer to this side of my face because I wanna see if it applies different on top of a primer versus just on its own. I try not to choose a primer that's going to alter the finish or how the foundation wears. So again, here's an up close look at the packaging. Really interesting lines. So let's go ahead and take this off. It does look like the MAC face and body kind of packaging where it has this like little spout. It looks a little thicker than I was anticipating. It's not running as quickly down the dish as I thought. So I'm gonna go in with a beauty blender. I usually like to apply my foundations with the beauty blender. I'm not about using my fingers or a brush. So I just do this and it seems to work out pretty okay for me. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the time. It's 11:08 right now. All right, so definitely soaked up a bit of the product into the sponge. So I imagine if you went in with a brush, this would give you, like, you'd get more coverage right away than going in with a beauty blender. Baby boy is wiggling around this morning. He is just on the move the last couple of days. He's so active. All right, so I already went through all of the foundation that was on my dish here. Here's with one layer. Definitely can still see my skin through this. So I'm gonna just see if it can build on my acne areas. So far it's looking okay. I wouldn't say it looks amazing on the skin right now. I can definitely tell this side with the primer looks a little bit more matte than this side without the primer. It does seem like it is building. It's not looking heavy or cakey when I'm adding another layer. It does say this is supposed to be very blurring, like very, very blurring. I don't know if it's 100% blurring right now. Like, I feel like on this side, I can definitely still see my pores coming through. Shade is a good shade match for me. I was a little nervous that it was going to be too dark. Whenever a shade says light and not fair, it usually is too dark. Let's add some concealer. I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape here. I like to wear these, like do my wear test for at least 10 hours, if not more. Just to really give it a good chance on my skin to see how it wears. And I will come back at the very end of the night and show you guys how it held up. Taking my Laura Mercier powder, I do have to powder my skin because I do have oily skin. I don't think there's been a day where I've applied makeup and not powdered my face. All right, I'm gonna set down my entire face, just see how it looks once everything is set. I'm definitely seeing less glowiness on this side of my face. Up close, both sides look similar. This side looks a little bit better, and there's still a tiny bit of a glow underneath the powder on this side. But in terms of like the finish and the coverage and everything, it looks very similar. I feel like adding the second layer really helped. It seemed like the first layer just really got soaked up by the sponge. So if you want more coverage, go in with a brush. But I think it looks really nice, very lightweight, using a sponge. I don't really have any complaints about it yet. I think I'm just gonna have to see how it wears, but so far it's sitting on the skin really nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the rest of my makeup. I'll be back and I can share my thoughts of how everything else applied on top. All right, you guys, I'm back, finished out the rest of my makeup. It is currently 11:30, so I guess we'll call the check-in time maybe like 11:15 because I think that's when I kind of transitioned to doing the rest of my makeup. But here's how it's looking. I'm looking up close. I was looking at how things applied. I do think that it's a really nice looking foundation, skin tint, whatever you want to call it. I would say in terms of coverage, it definitely covers more than just a regular skin tint. Seems to have a little bit more of that like medium coverage type finish, at least for how I applied it. And of course, if you like lighter coverage, go in with less. You can definitely get that with this skin tint. One thing I am noticing just a tiny bit is on this side in my cheek where I did not use the primer. It's a little bit more red than this side. Just like the tiniest amount. In terms of like how everything else applied, things went on really well, normal, didn't pick up the product at all, did not make the skin tint look patchy. I just think overall it looks like really nice. It feels also nice on the skin. I can definitely feel it a little bit on my skin. It's not incredibly lightweight, but it's pretty lightweight. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and go throughout my day. I'll check back at the very end of the evening and share with you guys how it held up. Overall, really happy with how it's looking so far. I just hope it stays looking this good. So I'll see you guys at the very end of the evening. It is exactly 9 o'clock. So I want to show you guys how my skin looks. I will insert a clip here of how it looked around 5 o'clock this evening. It looked really good, you guys. Minus a little bit of creasing right here on my forehead, it held up really, really well. I even blew my nose a few times and it came off a little bit, but not too bad. Like this is, I mean, I'm really surprised with how my skin looks so far. I feel like it held up really well. It still looks really nice. It did rub off my chin just a little bit, but my cheeks, like everything stayed on very well throughout the day. I could not tell a huge difference between this side with the primer and this side without the primer. I feel like it held up similarly on both sides. So I'm not sure if you necessarily need a primer with this foundation. For me, I'd say it's definitely more of a mattifying kind of finish, medium coverage foundation rather than a lightweight skin tint, but I still really like how it looks on the skin. I'm definitely gonna continue to wear it. I think it held up really nice throughout the day. So if you have tried out this foundation, this skin tint, let me know that down below what your thoughts are, but I overall am really happy and I think it's a decent price, pretty affordable foundation / skin tint on Sephora. So if you have the chance to pick it up, I know a lot of the shades are out of stock, but if you're similar skin tone to mine, I think you'd definitely be okay with going with the shade 2 and not going one shade up. I think this was actually kind of the perfect tone for me, and if I went one shade up, it would have been too light for me. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.